Have you ever noticed how easy it is to start creating for the algorithm instead of creating for yourself? That realization hit me after taking 2 weeks away from social media. I honestly thought I'd come back feeling behind. I figured I'd open my social media accounts, check my analytics, see what I missed, and immediately start trying to figure out how to go back to where I was as far as my engagement and all of that, and just start planning my next post. Instead, I came back with a completely different perspective. Hi, I'm Ingrid, founder of Growth Community and My Orbit, and today I want to talk about the biggest lesson that I learned after stepping away for these 2 weeks. We've never had more tools than we do today. I talk about this all the time. AI can analyze our content, tell us which hooks perform best, recommend what to post, and our analytics can show us exactly when people stop watching or what gets the most engagement. And honestly, I think that's incredible. I use AI, I look at my analytics, I love having access to all of that information. But that's the key, having access, because this is what I realized. Somewhere along the way, we started asking those tools questions they were never meant to answer. Questions like, what should I post? Who should I be online? What version of me is most likely to go viral? Those are not questions that AI can or should answer for you. Only you can. And that's why so many people are feeling stuck. Because before we ask, what does the algorithm want? We should probably ask ourselves, why am I even here? What is the goal? Why are you on Instagram? Why are you on LinkedIn? Why did you start your YouTube channel? What are you actually trying to build? Because your answer changes everything. For example, if your goal is to become a full-time creator, your strategy will look one way. If your goal is to grow your business, it will probably look completely different. If your goal is to build a community around something you care about, that's another strategy entirely. There isn't one formula that works for everyone because we're not all trying to build the same thing. We don't have the same goals, vision, or mission. And I feel like we've forgotten that. Instead, we spend time comparing ourselves to people who have completely different goals, different audiences, and different businesses. Then we wonder why copying their strategy doesn't work. That's because their strategy is not your strategy. The other thing I realized is that analytics are really good at telling you what happened. They can tell you which posts got the most views, which thumbnails had the highest click-through rate, which real people watched the longest, but they cannot tell you what matters the most. They cannot tell you what kind of reputation you want to build. They cannot tell you what conversations you want to be known for. They cannot tell you what your mission is. That is still your job. So yes, use AI, use analytics, experiment, pay attention to what's working, but let those things support your vision, not replace it. Because if you only create based on what the data tells you, eventually you start sounding like everyone else who's looking at the exact same data. The creators, I remember, aren't the ones with the perfect hooks. They're the ones who have a point of view. The ones who tell stories that make me think, the ones who feel like themselves every time they show up, the ones that I can relate to, and that's the type of founder and creator I am aiming to become, and you should too. So if you've been feeling overwhelmed by social media lately, maybe don't start by opening your analytics and start by asking yourself a different question. What am I actually trying to build here? Because once you know the answer to that, the content part will get easier and you will start to show up more like yourself without feeling overwhelmed. If any of this resonates, don't forget to subscribe because I'll be sharing a lot more content on all the things that relate to the many hats that we wear as founders. Until next time, bye.